It has been quite a journey. We've been in our house for almost a year now, and we started this several years ago, and we decided we should do a compilation video to bring those viewers up to date who've never met us and others who can see it all in one sitting. But we bought this property on Logan Martin Lake in Alabama while we were living in Arizona before we retired as part of our retirement plan, and we will go through in this video all the hurdles we've gone through in order to purchase the land, decide what we're going to put on the land, build the house, and move here.
Yes, it has been quite the journey, several years in the making, but we have had several people who've binge watched our videos because they're kind of going through the same process we did, building on a lake or just building new construction while having a home that they're currently living in. So we thought it would be a great idea to make this compilation, but it is quite long.
So grab some popcorn. Maybe you're going to take a couple sittings. Let us know how many sittings it took you to get through this thing.
Yep, and enjoy. Met with the builder, and so that was just awesome news. He didn't kill our dreams, but I'm going to give you a tour of the lot in more detail. So this is River Ranch Road, and there is actually a 60-foot right-of-way for the road. And you can see that stake in the ground up ahead that shows the right-of-way line. We don't even need permits to build here, so we can actually build up to that right-of-way line if we wanted to. But we're not going to, because there's a big power pole right here, and it is still kind of close to the road. We originally thought we would have to put the house closer to the road because of the 100-year floodplain that restricts this lot, but the builder said no, it'd be better if we actually move the house up closer to the lake, which is ideal because then we just optimize the best views of this lake. You can see there's stakes in the ground down the hill there. That is showing the boundary for the 100-year floodplain. So it really does restrict this lot. There's also an easement for the lake, and we can't build in that easement either. Anything we do build within that easement, we have to have a permit from the Alabama shoreline. So when we get our boat dock put in, we'll have to get a permit from them. I'm standing on the top of the hill here, which a bulk of the house will be. And this is probably the view that we're gonna have looking out this way. Over here, there's a couple mounds of dirt. And what that was is we had to do a perk test on the lot. Because we have to have septic here, they have to run a test. See, there's a little hole in the ground here. And then there's a bigger hole right here that they dug. And then they fill it with water and see how long it takes the ground to percolate the water. There's another one that they dug over here. But the results of those tests basically tell us if we can build, how big of a house we can build, where we can build, because it just all depends on how the ground percolates for the septic system. There's a big measuring tape that we placed along right here. We think this is going to be the boundary of our house. We just wanted to visualize it so we can maximize on these views. I can't believe this is going to happen. Every time we have a contractor come out here, we've had the surveyor come out here for the septic, and then now the builder. We're just so afraid that something's going to kill our dream, but we've been getting good news each time we meet with people. So we are just so excited.
Our next video, we're going to start talking about home concepts and floor plans. And Joe and I are so excited that you are joining this journey with us and would love it if you would hit that like button, leave some comments below, and subscribing to our channel. And we'll see you in the next video.
Hi, friends. We're so glad you've come back to join us on our journey towards retirement. We look forward to sharing these steps with you and hearing your feedback. Today, we're going to talk about what to build on our property. We had visited quite a few properties on this particular trip. Each lake had a different real estate agent. We were now on Logan Martin Lake, where we were staying, and the agent stated she had one more property to show us. We approached in the early evening and witnessed a sunset similar to the one pictured here. I'm not sure I fell in love with the sunset or the property's aspects of being level and close proximity to the water, but I knew with sunsets like these, we were going to make an offer on this property before we even got out of the car. As we walked the property, we saw a flat surface where we could build our retirement home that overlooked the lake with a small decline to the lake and some non-buildable property around it that was nice to look at. In the listing for this property, there was a survey. This is a snip from that survey. It shows the property proximity to the lake, which is at the bottom of the screen, as well as the flat area we see to build our house on. It also shows an area of the property which is in a flood zone where we cannot build anything except maybe a gazebo or a swing, but nothing that we'd be worried about getting flooded. She did mention to us that getting a perk test should be done after making the offer. And we attempted to do this, but we were unable to get people to the property to perform the task in the short amount of time we had to do our due diligence. As of the date we're making this video, we finally have our perk test done, and we'll talk more about that later. We are now looking at the back of a house, searching on the internet after having made an offer on the property and thinking about what we would like our lake home to look like. As we perused different house concepts on the web, I came across this one that made me happy. I liked how many windows there were in the back, and both the enclosed and exposed outdoor living spaces. Having a lakefront property means you have to have two front yards, street side front yard and lakeside front yard. Both need to be appealing. What I liked about this floor plan is most of my living was on the first floor, including my master suite, living room, kitchen, dining room, garage, a guest room, laundry facilities. Another thing I liked was the pop-out for the bathtub, so you could lay in the tub and look at the lake and enjoy those sunsets. Yet another appealing thing was the two-sided fireplace based both in the living room and the dining room. There's also a netted area where you could enjoy outdoor living behind screens, so the bugs wouldn't be much of a nuisance. These areas existed both off the living room and the master suite. The second floor of this concept had two additional bedrooms and another bathroom for the main house, as well as a game room. But the thing that appealed to us most about this was a separate living facility, which could be used for visiting family members or a short-term rental. One of the things we experienced when visiting this lake was staying with some people who became our friends, and they ran an Airbnb or short-term rental business out of their home. We thought at first that this would be a great idea to earn some extra income in our retirement years. So we started to play with this floor plan a little to make it more ours. One of the first things we did was to change the configuration of the kitchen to facilitate better views of the lake while prepping food or doing dishes, as well as a walk-in pantry, which could also serve as a safe room in the event of a tornado. We also inverted the floor plan for better views of the lake. We removed the shower from that third bathroom downstairs, as we just needed a wash closet for people right before dinner, and added additional storage here. A dumb waiter was also envisioned here to help carry things up and down from the first and second floor. As we got older, I didn't want to carry trays of dishes down the stairs, or laundry, or cases of drink for the game room. We also removed the closet from one of the bedrooms on the first floor to make that our office with 2 desks. By removing that closet, we were able to conceptualize expanding the master bathroom to include a walk-in closet. We envisioned a hot tub on the patio outside the master suite where we could watch the sunsets or take a nice treatment at the end of the day. On the second floor, our concept included a craft room, as Tracy loves to express her creativity in constantly changing ways, and she needs a dedicated space for these projects. We also envisioned additional storage in the hallway to help support the short-term rental facility. As part of our due diligence, we joined some Facebook groups with people who own short-term rentals, and as we read some of the stories, we decided that this might be more of a headache than we were interested in our retirement years. While it would be nice to meet some fun people, there would be people with energies that were not similar to ours, and we decided that this was no longer part of our plan. We also looked at the cost to build this home with these additions and might have moved a little bit out of our budget. While searching the web, we found a builder that gave a fixed price for building their designs on your property, and we found a floor plan that we liked. That floor plan pictured here was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a large dining room, kitchen, walk-in pantry, utility room for laundry, 2 concepts for the master bedroom, outdoor kitchen area. It seemed perfect for us. So now with concepts in hand of what to build, we planned a trip, and we scheduled meetings with several builders on our property to get their input on what we would need to do to prepare the site. We also found a very similar floor plan to the Bergland from America's Home Place on another website, so we could meet with other builders about building that home. We knew when we visited the America's Home Place site near where we would be building, they didn't have the exact house we wanted to build, but they did have things very similar, and we could see the quality of their builds and finishes on this trip. We could also see several options for exteriors and get a feel for flooring and quality of work from this builder. We had scheduled an on-site with this company on our lot so we could better understand site work, which would be needed on our lot in an effort to understand the complete cost of the project, but they canceled at the last minute.
Hey, it's Tracy popping in, and we're going to take you through a super quick tour of this model that they had available at America's Home Place. It was fun to go through the model, but I did notice some things that I didn't really care for. The finishings that they use appear to be on the cheaper side, as you can see in these closets, how they use the wire racks, and the carpeting throughout the main floors, linoleum in the bathrooms. And I'm sure that we could use features that we liked, but I'm sure it would beef up the price quite a bit. So I don't know if we're going to go with this builder or not, but it was still fun to look at the models. I really do like how they have it decorated, the colors and so forth. The style is really appealing to me, kind of modern, a little contemporary, a little bit rustic. I don't know if Joe agrees with me, but we'll have that argument at a later date. Maybe we'll get you involved in that argument. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this quick little tour of this model. And now I'm going to hand you back to Joe.
There was a nice graphic in their office that we saw in the video that basically walks you through step by step of building their home. Step 1 complete. We bought a lot. Step 2 is grading. We're probably going to need a little of this to make it level and remove a couple more trees. Then the other steps listed here are all additional points where you can spend additional money to further customize and enhance your project. But all in all, this visit was beneficial, and we enjoyed our time with America's Home Place. As we've mentioned earlier, we did find a very similar home plan to the Bergland from America's Home Place on houseplans.com. We're showing this floor plan now. Slight differences between the two homes include this one being 2 inches bigger in both directions. And from the design, the finishes are much more elevated, and we'll show you some pictures of that in a few minutes. Additionally, this floor plan gave us something we really wanted that was lacking in the other. This floor plan offered what is now known to me as a frog, finished room over garage. By giving up just a little bit of space in the utility room, we gain a staircase that leads to a bonus room upstairs above the garage. And this floor plan is depicted with an additional bathroom, but we would use this as a billiards room and replace that bathroom with a bar. Looking at the pictures from the other floor plans at the other site, we see some elevated details, such as the crown molding and the built-in cabinets in the mudroom as well as in the main living room. We did ask America's Home Place if they could do the frog, and they said yes, and the cost wasn't exorbitant. Other things we noticed from the houseplans.com site were the varying heights of the ceiling in the dining room or in the master bedroom, which gave it an elegant feel, as well as the closets had real wooden shelves as opposed to those metal shelving units that America's Home Place had. America's Home Place only does what's on the foundation for their fixed price. So to manage other projects such as putting in your driveway or the septic system or building the boathouse, and we've got some grand plans for the boathouse, they'll do these, but they charge 18% above the cost to manage the project. So we'll be putting together some bid sheets and handing that out to multiple builders to see where we come together on price, and we have a lot of decisions to make before then. So we're back home now, and we got some results from our perk test and our engineered septic system. This slide shows the positioning of our house on our lot. It's nicely angled with a western exposure, which gives us the best views of the sunset. The driveway's a little bit awkward as it's now facing the side of the house. On the south side of the house, we can see where the B12 is. That's where our septic system is going to be. And we're using about every square inch of this area. We have the RDF, which is basically a reserve field in case something happens and we can't use the original septic So we have to have an alternate place for that where we can move those drainage lines. We also found that the drainage was poor here. So the septic system will only support a 2-bedroom house. So we had to make some modifications to our floor plan. The modifications were simple. The first was to remove the closets from bedroom 1 and make that Tracy's craft room, which was always part of the plan. And the next was to put in a jetted bathtub in the master suite because the septic system won't support a spa. And the third was to replace the bathroom in the billiards room area with a wet bar, which was kind of always our plan anyway. I hope we haven't bored you too much as we rambled on a little bit about our floor plans and what to build in retirement. We hope that you'll join us again next time. I thought we'd end with another beautiful sunset. This was shared to me by my friend Charlie, who lives in the same slough we'll be retiring to. I hope God blesses you and you're working towards your dreams. Have a good day. Bye.
Hi, friends. Welcome back. We're so glad you're here. And Joe and I thought it would be fun to talk a little bit about Logan Martin Lake, the Coosa River, and the area in general as we take a drive to our property by boat. We are very fortunate to have already made friends in Alabama, and they were kind enough to take us on their boat so we could see our property from the water. As you can see, the day that we were there, gorgeous. The lake was so smooth, and their boat is a tri-tune, so it really made the ride smooth. We're going to start turning left into this inlet here, and that is because our lot is on a slough, which is spelled S-L-O-U-G-H. And a slough is a wetland, usually a swamp or a shallow lake, often a backwater to a larger body of water. And that is what we're entering right now. As we're entering the slough, let's talk a little bit about the Coosa River. The Coosa River is a tributary, which, by the way, is a river or a stream flowing into a larger river or lake. So it's a tributary of the Alabama River located in Alabama and Georgia. The river is about 280 miles long, and it begins at the confluence of two rivers in Rome, Georgia, and ends just northeast of Montgomery, which is Alabama's state capital. It is one of Alabama's most developed rivers, and most of the river has been impounded with Alabama Power owning 7 dams and powerhouses which produce hydroelectric power. The 7 impoundments are Jordan Dam Tailwater, Lake Jordan, and I'm sure I'm going to massacre the pronunciation of this one, Lake Boulden, Lake Mitchell, Lake, Lake Neely Henry, Weiss Lake, and Logan Martin Lake, which is where our property is located. So it's going to take a couple minutes to get back to where our property is located. So let's speed this ride up just a little bit. Logan Martin Lake covers over 15,000 acres and has 275 miles of shoreline along its 48.5-mile length. It's sandwiched between Logan Martin Dam on the south side and Neely Henry Dam on the north. It's located approximately 30 miles east of Birmingham. The depth of the lake ranges between 35 to 110 feet, and it has been nicknamed by locals as the Lake of 1,000 Coves. This beautiful lake is a recreational lake and offers many opportunities for boating and fishing. And oh my gosh, did you just see that fish jump out of the lake? Yeah, there's lots and lots of fishing opportunities here. There's largemouth bass, spotted bass, bluegill, sunfish, crappie, catfish, striped bass, hybrid bass, white bass. Yeah, the lake provides some of the best bass fishing around, and it continues to be a popular spot for fishing tournaments such as the Bassmaster Classic. That big house now in the background that we're coming up upon, that's our neighbor's house. That house is huge, and it is the only neighbor that we have on the one side. So we're slowly coming up to our lot, but as we do so, I just wanted to mention that we get asked a lot if there are alligators here, and the answer is no. Yes, there are alligators in southern Alabama, but there's none where we are. The environment is hospitable to them, but no, still none are there. But please don't bring one when you come to visit us. So now we're looking at our lot. It is the lot with that bunch of trees in the middle. There's like a little bit of a clearing on the left and then the trees. That's our lot. And it's just so peaceful here. I love how the ripples in the water change and just goes to flat glass. And that's probably due to the depth change in the water. But isn't it beautiful? I still can't believe that this is going to be our life. And it was just so amazing to be able to see this from the water side. I see we have another boat approaching us on the left side of the screen here. That's a fishing boat, probably going out for a great day on the lake. I wonder how much fish he'll catch. But anyways, Joe and I just want to thank you for joining us in our journey. We're so excited to have you here along with us. And I'll just let you enjoy the rest of the scenery as we finish up our ride.
Hello, I'm Joe.
And I'm Tracy.
Welcome to our channel.
Retirement in Color. Thanks for stopping by. I know it's been a while since we've done a video, so it's been on the back of our minds lately that we really needed to update you guys what's going on, because there's actually been a lot going on as we get ready to retire to Alabama.
One of the biggest things that's been going on is, well, in order to move to Alabama, we have to sell this house to fund the build of the new house. So last few weeks, we've been interviewing real estate agents. We both have agents that have helped us in the past, and then we always look at open houses in the neighborhood, and recently we stopped by one and we were impressed by that agent, so we decided to include him in the interview process.
Yeah, we set a date and we made appointments, and they all came in on that same day. And one thing we noticed about each agent that we interviewed is they have totally different presentations. They might come somehow with the same information, but the way they present it was all different. So it really, really made our choice hard because they all sounded great. But one of the agents did give us a great tip, and I want to pass it on to you guys. If you want to compare sales history and price history of closed sales of real estate agents, to go to homes.com, and that was a great resource for us to helping us determine which agent we were going to go with.
Because, you want to get the most you can when you sell your house, and that lets you know who's selling houses for what price point, and makes a big difference. But that wasn't the only factor. Mm-hmm. I think that our house here is a little bit unique in that it's more of an entertaining house than the average home that's just a straight 4-bedroom, 2-bath, or however many bathrooms. We have a really huge game room and an entertaining kitchen, and
Yeah, this house is great for entertaining. In fact, we usually had a lot of our family functions here because we have such a large family. But then again, we also have a jacuzzi in our garage, so it does make it for a very unique home. But if you're looking for a unique home and you love to entertain, just wait until May.
So yes, that was a lot of fun and interesting. We learned a lot from each of them, but we finally this week made a decision, and I think that the reason we chose this one is because he had the highest price point sales as well as number of sales and his ability to sell unique homes.
Yeah, he really emphasized the fact that he liked to tell a story of the home, what made that home unique. And he just did it down at another house just down the street from us that was unique as well. So we're really confident that he's going to be able to do the best for us. So, but then again, at the same time, after listening to all these 3 agents, we had to take a walk around our house with each of them. And, they pointed out things that we needed to fix or change. And so that became very, very overwhelming. So right now, I don't know about you, but I am living in a space of I'm just so overwhelmed right now.
Most of it is, we were aware of most of the changes, but it's how little they want in the house when you have it ready for showings. So they call it decluttering, but it's really thinning down to almost bare minimums. Today we went just for something to do, and we looked at some model homes to see how they're staged and how little furniture is in them. So we have a lot to get rid of, and to that end we have, we've started boxing up things that we won't use in the next 6 months, like winter for Arizona is about over, so we packed all our winter clothes, and we've started the thinner closets, and thin enough that we can get rid of pieces of dresser drawers and things like that. We've gotten an idea of what we need to put at a yard sale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're going to be having a huge yard sale, which is another thing that's overwhelming me because they're a lot of work. And twice a year, our community has a yard sale, and we usually put a lot of stuff out there. And our last one, normally after our yard sales, we'll take the rest over to Goodwill and donate it, but we didn't last time. We brought it all back in.
Because we knew we were having another one.
Right.
But now we've got 3 times as much. So
right.
We're going to be making deals. So we'll,
yeah.
You may not be in our local area, but those who are,
let us know. We'll let you know when it is.
Yeah. But things are moving. That's just one piece of it. Another fun part of what's been going on is we're close enough. We're within 6 months now, just barely. So we started reaching out to builders. And Tracy put an ad on a note on Facebook saying, "Hey, does anybody know of any good builders?" And there was a plethora of responses. So we also had referrals from people we've met. The gentleman who sold us the property, his builder, and others that we've seen on Facebook where they just finished my house and it's beautiful. So we narrowed that list down to 4 and sent them letters. And
it was more than 4.
It was more than 4.
We sent out.
I guess we only got 4 responses to our letters, where we basically scoped out what we're looking to do. We picked floor plans from houseplans.com that we really liked the house. We could have said, just put this house on our property with the septic system and a boathouse and we'd be done. But as we shared that with these builders, most of them said, we don't need those floor plans. We'll just draw it up ourselves and save you some money.
Yeah, that was surprising to me. It's also surprising the fact that we don't need a permit to build our house out there, but oh well.
We have our permit for our septic system in place, so we're excited about that. And so, while we haven't heard back with final numbers from everybody, we have gotten some questions, so we know that they're actively involved in putting together a proposal for us.
Yeah, and that's one of the interesting things is, we sent out 6 of these letters, and a few of them, one of them actually called us as soon as they got this letter, and a couple of them texted us. But that was about 3 weeks ago, and
this week one was on site.
Yeah.
He went to our property to look at it because it is a unique property. The buildable space is kind of small, even though we have a lot more land than that.
But the other is just we haven't heard anything since. So I don't know. It's making me worried that perhaps our land scared them a little, or they're going to burst our dreams somehow. But I don't know. Whatever.
In a week or so, we'll send them another nudging letter with a little for a status update. But, But I think we're in good shape. And we also have a fallback plan. There's a website we visited when we visited their office there local.
And now I can't remember what the name of it was. It's in gosh, if I remember it, I'll put it on the screen here. But
myhomeplace.com, I think so.
Homeplace.com.
Yeah, and they had the floor plan we like. Well, very close to the exact same floor plan we found on the other site, but and they have a cost that they publish for building in Alabama, but that cost is for only the things on the slab, so it doesn't include the boathouse or the septic system, but we have approximate costs on those, so it's happening one way or another.
And I thought for sure when we started this process, we would find more places like that, home builders that are more like a company or a corporation or something, but it seems like the people that we've been reaching out to is just like a guy.
Yeah.
So
or
it's
a
a
husband
little,
wife.
Yeah. So
but that's okay.
It's a little nerve-wracking, but
things move a little slower in Alabama, and we're looking forward to that.
We'll definitely update you guys when we start getting the responses back, and if we end up making a decision, we might have to make another trip out there to meet the builder in person at the site. But yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys updated on that.
Let's see what else is happening.
Well, I also had, since I work for a municipality, I do have a pension with the state of Arizona. So I had a webinar with my retirement being 6 months in sight. So that was it was a good webinar, and it's spurred us on to going ahead and making another meeting with our finance guy. So we just want to make doubly sure that we are going to be able to retire
in color
and build this house, because we've been dreaming it now for the last 2 years. So
let's see what else is happening. Oh, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we both lost about 30 pounds since our last video. Mm-hmm. So trying to get a little healthy, so when we retire, we'll be able to enjoy life. I really think I'll probably put on 5 pounds a year back till I get maybe up to as big as I was, but that'll take a few years.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just known so many people that after they retired, their health declined so much. and I don't want that to happen to us. So we have been trying to be a little bit more healthy, but I am very proud of us on our weight loss, and we're still going. Scale's still going down, so it's kind of nice. We'll be in bathing suit weather for when we're out on our boat on the lake. So
Today we're going to talk to you about how to prep your house for sale. Our journey involves building a new house, and in order to fund that, or fully fund that, we have to sell this house. And as in every home, there are lots of things you need to do all the time, because being a homeowner, it never ends. But there are things you should and shouldn't do when prepping your house for selling. For example, you shouldn't do a full kitchen remodel because you're not going to get all that money back. But you should spruce up your kitchen, make sure everything's clean and looks as good as it can. Bathroom remodels are the same thing. We've done some of these things over the last couple years because knew we were going to move, and we upgraded maybe the vanities in the bathroom because because we were going to continue to live here. But if we were just prepping our house for sale, we may not have done that. So there are some things, and we'll talk about that as we move through the video, things we've done and things we choose not to do because we want to get the most bang for our buck and make this house appealing to the most people we can.
definitely. And make sure you stay till the end, where we will talk about some updates about what's happening with us in our next steps. So enjoy the video.
One of the first things we did was some minor updates to our guest bathroom. It probably could have used a total regut, but in order to sell the house, that just wasn't necessary. So we replaced the old 1970s vanity, which was yellow and had some rust stains in the sink, with a more modern vanity, and we replaced the fixtures. It was also this dark green color, so we went ahead and brightened that up with a white color. It's not really showing in this video here, but you can see here we redid the walls to the white color. We didn't redo the floors because that wasn't necessary either, but you can see how nice and bright the bathroom came out, which is perfect for the resale.
In order to sell the house, we have to remove all personal items. These figurines, Superman, and there's also a Spider-Man that I acquired when Atomic Comics went out of business, and they left these behind. I saw them at the mall just sitting there for months, so I went in and negotiated with the management company at the mall to allow me to restucco the front of the building and slip them a couple $100 cash, and they let me keep the figurines, which made my game room fun and entertaining. They've now been moved to storage, and they will sit there, and someday in the very near future I will see them on my boathouse, so that I'll drive my boat in between them when I come home. And so here you can see the walls where they're repaired, and looks like they were never there. We did some other work in the room too, but made that room look nice enough to sell.
One of the first things your real estate agent is going to tell you is to declutter the house. And man, did we have a lot of stuff to declutter. This was just one of the 2 garage sales that we've had. They're a lot of work, so we decided 2 is enough. We probably could have had 3 or 4 garage sales to get rid of our stuff, but it was a good way to make a little bit of extra money.
Storm damage caused a couple windows in the house to be broken, and nobody wants to buy a house with eyesores or obvious problems, so we got these replaced, and they look great. And that's one more thing off the list, making this house ready to sell and get the most possible.
Another thing our agent told us is that people want the house to look light and bright, and he didn't really care for these red accent walls we had in the great room and the kitchen. So Joe and Vicky climbed up high to repaint those accent walls to the same color that was already existing in the kitchen. And I think it turned out really nice. The carpeting in our bedrooms was pretty shot, old, ripples and stains. And friends and family will tell you to just give a carpet allowance, but it's really important to listen to your real estate agent to see what the market wants. And the market that we're in now, they want things to look like a model home. So giving a carpet allowance didn't work for us. So we went ahead and replaced it, and it really made a difference.
The patio was one of the things that we debated most doing because we're selling a home that's a used home, and power washing left it dingy, so we decided to trust our experts and we went ahead and had it repainted, mostly because of this crack here. We didn't want it to appear to be a bigger problem than it actually is, so when we got it repainted it looked great, and it seems to revitalize the backyard and make it feel more inviting and open. You can also see that the paint was there. The water had done some damage to the bottom of the stucco on the paint, so I went ahead and spot painted that also to make it look better. And you can see that the before and after that crack, you can't even tell it was ever there. The backyard's looking great, and this is going to help us to get the most out of our house. Replacing the shower doors was another decision we made because I could not get these to slide right, so we've replaced them with new ones that look and feel great. They now slide exactly how they should, and I think that this is well worth the expense and the time. Also, I'm going to need to replace the existing shower fixtures because that's one of the things that buyers notice in a house, and it's well worth the effort and the minimal expense.
The front entry is the introduction to your house, so you want to make sure it's looking nice. And you can see by this really old, crappy light that it had to go. So we ended up replacing it with this nice, new, modern light, which really didn't cost much money at all. So this might not be an issue that everyone has, but we tend to collect bottles of booze. And trust me when I say we are not alcoholics, because we rarely ever drink at home. But we did amass this huge collection of booze. So we decided to have a party with our friends and our coworkers, and we ended up giving away all of this booze by the end of the night while having such a great time.
Thank you for watching the video. I hope that while you've been watching, you've gained some valuable information that will help you in your journey if you're prepping your house for sale, so you don't spend too much money and you get the maximum return.
Yes, and what's next for us is we're actually hopping on a plane in just 2 days' time. We've narrowed our builder choice down to 3, and we're hoping on this trip we're actually going to pick our builder. So what makes it so exciting is that we are potentially going to be breaking ground on this home build in just a couple weeks. Not months, not years, how it's been in the past, but just a couple weeks. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you can see all the updates and hopefully learn the things that we're learning along the way as we go through this process.
Then some exciting news, since we're going to be retiring in less than 90 days and we're going to be without a home while the new one's being built, we've thought of some fun things to do. We're going to rent some furnished apartments around the country a month at a time and maybe spend a month in Yellowstone, or we'll keep you posted on that. Stay tuned.
Bye.
This video is exciting because we're talking about builder selection. We sent a letter out to, we posted on Facebook, hey, we need a builder, and we got lots of responses, so we listed all those responses and found email addresses where we could, and we sent them all a letter that said, hey, this is what we want to build, this is our septic permit, this is, all the details on what we want to build, and said, let us know if you're interested in the project. And
We got lots of interest.
we did get a lot of interest, but some of it was just interest. They didn't do a whole lot to follow up, or we tried to follow up with them and it just fizzled to no communication. So all said and done, we got down to 3 builders. 2 general contractors or building companies in the area, and the third one is a corporation that builds their house on your lot. And this video is about our trip back to Alabama, where we're going to interview those 3 builders and make a decision so that we can get this house build started.
Well, update on builder number 1. Wah, wah.
We set an expectation, and he was to give us, he had agreed to bring us drawings and prices, and he came totally unprepared, so he's eliminated himself.
Yeah, he said he doesn't work that way, but the thing is, he got the same information all the other builders that we've been in contact with, and that they were able to give us information with. He acted like he knew nothing about that.
And all the information that he's asking for was in the letter that we sent him, so he just didn't read. And he agreed to meet us out here, and was a yes man.
We're not too disappointed because we realized several months ago that this guy was not a great communicator anyways, and I don't think we want to deal with that while we're building our retirement home. So
we just thought that maybe he's a better person with numbers and we would see that today, but
not the case. But that's okay, it just freed up the rest of our day, so we're gonna do some exploring around the little town. We're gonna go to there's like a mom and pop grocery store here called the Food Barn, and people drive there to get their meat. So we might get a little snack from there, and then we'll be back tomorrow with an update on the next builder. So,
bye.
See you then.
Good morning. We're getting ready to go meet with another builder today. This is the one we're really hoping that will make our lake home a reality. So wish us luck as we do this, and we'll give you an update a little later with how things went, and thanks for watching. Bye. We had a good day here in Alabama today. We met with a builder, and he took us to see a couple properties that he's been working on, and one was almost done for the customer to move in, and the other one was beyond the framing stage, but we really enjoyed the finishes in the houses that he's delivering. We talked with him about finances and how he's going to keep us on track and on budget to get the project done on schedule. He can't start for about a month, but I think that we're comfortable with this builder, even though tomorrow we have. Go ahead.
Well, and it really helped to see in person what he's built, because then I can compare apples to apples, because we have seen a model of the homes of the builder we're seeing tomorrow. So it was really helpful. It was a great meeting compared to yesterday, that's for sure. And I also like that this guy will take care of building everything. The house, the driveway, the walkway to the boathouse, the septic. So I do like that aspect.
We also spent some time today talking about some things we have and haven't planned for, like maybe we're going to need a golf cart, getting around our neighborhood, talking to our neighbors, because some people have some really long driveways.
Storm shelter.
Storm shelter, yeah, that's something we don't have to build in Arizona. We don't have to think about tornadoes. And we looked at some boats and new boats, which we hadn't done before here. And
that was exciting.
Yeah, and learned a little bit about boats, and that's nice. We should have made some more videos, but we didn't.
Yeah, and we did some exploring in the town across the lake, Talladega. We were expecting a little bit more because, you keep hearing about Talladega because of the races, which are going to be in town this weekend. So it sounds like we're leaving at a great time because there's going to be a lot of people here for the races. But they had a cute square, but I was just a little disappointed. There wasn't really any shopping or restaurants, but we had a nice little
It wasn't as cute as Gadsden or even Pell City, but it was cute.
Yeah.
And food. Oh, we'll talk about food on a whole nother video because we've eaten well here.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching. We'll keep you up to date as things move along. Tomorrow we'll give you another update on builder number 3 in America's Home Place.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Good morning. Today is day 3 of meeting with the builders. And today we are meeting with America's Home Place.
They're a company that builds their house on your lot. So they basically have a list of different floor plans, and you can customize those if you'd like, but they give you a flat price. If you build it this way in this county, it's going to cost you this amount of money. And so we're going to meet them first at our lot, and they're going to okay, so they build that house, but they only build what's on the slab for that price. So then there's other costs, whether you have to clear the land or add a driveway, or in our case a septic system. Those things that are not on the slab are extra money. So we're going to meet with them today. They're going to explain the $40,000 they say they want for site work, and then we'll go back to their office and look at other details about the house, picking finishing, so we can get a final price from them, because finishings can't adjust the price. And so that's our plan.
Yeah, I don't know why today I'm nervous about this meeting. Even though I think we have our mind made up of who we're going to go with, I'm still nervous about today's meeting. I think I'm nervous to hear exactly what has to be done on the site to make it buildable. But one of the nice things is they have a home plan that's very similar to the one that we want to build, with the exception of the upstairs finished game room. But anyways.
And so it's always good to have options. And so we're going to meet with them today, and we'll see what happens. Thanks for your time, and
see you later.
Bye.
Bye. So we just met with America's Home Place on our lot. They sent out 2 guys. One would be a project manager, and the other one, I forget what he was, but he was very knowledgeable. These 2 guys were specific to the site work, which for me was really good because I got a lot of questions answered. Every time we come out here, I always think that something is going to kill our dream because of so much of this lot is unbuildable. But once again, they reassured us that it is not going to kill our dream. We are going to be able to build our house here.
These guys were great and very professional. We enjoyed meeting with them. One of the differences between them and the other builders we talked to in the past is they build their floor plan on your lot. And so they're only doing what is on the slab, and then they charge extra to do all the things like build a driveway or put in a septic system, and they basically do cost plus on that. So after the next meeting, we're going to find out what the total cost will be, because we'll be picking finishes, and then with those numbers in place we can get a total cost to build, and then we can make a decision when we figure out finances and all that stuff. But we're getting close.
Yeah, it's definitely not apples to apples yet between the 2 builders that we're narrowing this down to. And I think it's never going to be apples to apples, but these meetings have been great, and it is helping us a lot that we will be able to narrow down our decision. But I'm going to flip the camera right now because I think we want to show you. They staked out the house for us. We can show you those stakes real quick. But it really is helping us to imagine the views that we're going to have from our living area. So let me flip this camera, hand it to Joe.
All right. So this first stake we see right here, that's going to be the front corner of the house. And then if we go straight back this way, that's going to run this way, but it's going to slightly angle so that we get these awesome views of the lake from our living room. And then over there is going to be our master bedroom. Over there, our kitchen. Over there, the garage. We'll share floor plans again. So excited to have you join us on the journey. So yesterday we were able to meet with the designers at the America's Home Place, and we picked our finishes. They had finishes in 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3. And if we went with all level 1 finishes, and we changed to carpet in the bedrooms as opposed to LVP, the price actually went down, which was a pleasant surprise. So that then put the total cost to build with their on the slab build and an allowance for a boathouse and a pathway to the house and the boathouse and the septic system, that made both houses within $1,000 of each other. So
But then something I noticed as the guy was running the numbers, I'm thinking when he was showing us the different levels of finishes, we didn't look at like kitchen backsplashes or tile for the bathroom shower. So I ran quickly into the model, which was connected to the office, just to see if the model showed that these items were there, and they weren't. And that kind of surprised me, and it almost made it a deal breaker for me, because I'm sure they would have done it, but probably would have put the price up quite considerably. Like, I want a nice backsplash in my kitchen. I want a nice shower in my master bath. So I think that kind of sealed the deal for us.
And then we confirmed with the other builder that, yeah, those things are included in his purchase price, in his build price. So I think the decision's made.
Yeah, we'd actually get a nicer home going with the individual builder.
And one single throat to choke, and we get everything we want, and some continuity between the boathouse and the house.
Yep.
All right. So we've chosen our builder, and we wanted to share with you the pros of each to see how we got to that decision. So we'll start with the pros of America's Home Place, which is a company that builds their house on your property. And they do this through many offices across the country, and they do it thousands of times a year, so they've got it down to a science. They build these, 30 different house plans, and they know exactly how much it's going to cost, and they have all the allowances so that they can stay on budget and on track.
I think that was one of the biggest pros, is that we saw everything written down line by line on a piece of paper.
And we could see examples.
Right, exactly how much it was going to cost. So that was really nice. And I think the other biggest pro was that it's multiple people working on the job rather than just one guy. So if something happened to the one guy, work might stop. With the big company, we know that the house is going to get built because the work is going to still keep going.
Yeah, they've got, and you've got architects, and you've got designers and interior designers, and all the little components that make for a house.
Right. So now the pros about going with the one guy.
We like him as a person. Mm-hmm. We also like that by trade he's a cabinet maker, because we, in one of the main reasons we picked the floor plan we did is storage, and there's lots of closets, and the kitchen has lots of cabinets and a pantry, and we feel like we'll get better finishes. And the other vendor offered these wired shelves in the cabinet and in the closets, and it just didn't feel like a custom home to us.
Right. If we wanted to put like wood shelves instead of the wire, they suggested for us to let them put the wire in and then go back out with a closet maker and do what we want, because it would just be way too expensive for them to do it. And also, for the same price for the individual builder than the corporate builder, we're actually getting nicer finishes.
Right, we've got crown molding and
backsplash in the kitchen, and a custom shower versus a plastic builder grade surround.
I guess because he doesn't have the overhead of all those exec salaries. But
right.
So we hope we've made the right decision. We asked him what happens to you if, and
what happens to our home build.
To our home build if something happens to you, and he had to think about it for a minute. But he says, my wife helps me with the books, and he's got lots of contractors he's worked with for more than 20 years, so they'd pick up the pieces and finish it out.
Right. So that's how we chose the builder for our home, and hopefully the information that we've learned can help you also if you're sifting through builders to choose for the build of your home.
We will talk to you later. He'll have a contract for us this week, and we will have somebody come out and stake out the property so that he puts it exactly where we want it, and things are happening fast.
Yep. And now we're going to go and we're going to listen to the gentle ripple of the water coming up on the shoreline of our property before we have to go drive to Atlanta to catch a plane back home. Bye.
Today we're excited because our house is going on sale tomorrow. And since the house is going on sale, Tracy says it's never looked better. So
it hasn't. I don't want to leave now.
Stick around, and Tracy's going to give you a quick tour of the house so you could see what we're selling. By the time you see this, it'll be sold.
So the sign is finally up, and it actually gets listed on the MLS tomorrow. But here are some things that we did. We added lots more rock to the front of the house in all the areas that had rock. And then we changed out this light fixture here to an LED light. It had a really ugly old light fixture there before. And then this door used to be yellow, so now it's black. And then if you come in, you will see the guard dog, but let me get a view this way. There used to be a lot more furniture in here than there is now. Yep, there was lots of stuff, mementos and such all along the top here. We staged this little area a little bit better than it was before. We had various other furniture in here. And we also had our elliptical machine here. But we moved, I love my rain oil lamp. We put that there instead. And then in the kitchen, there's a couple things on the counter, but before, this counter would hold everything. It always had stuff on it, but now it's nice and clean and clear. And we're gonna go ahead and put snacks in this one bowl here for when people come and look at the house. And then we kind of cleaned up the area by the stove and on top of the refrigerator. Then all the stuff was removed from the top. That top portion up there used to be dark red. Same with over here. So we painted that to match. So, let's go into the garage. This garage has been really cleaned out. We had all our kayaks in here. We just kept one and we lifted it. All our other kayaks are in storage. And then we set up the elliptical out here, but here is the in-ground jacuzzi that we have built into the garage, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they would have, the people who lived here before us put that in, but it is kind of nice. This garage, we actually ended up putting the garage door back on, but when we got the house, it was actually walled off into its own room, and they had this set up like a gym. So let's go back into the great room area. And so we really cleaned up a lot of the knickknacks and clutter that was in here. We took down all our personal pictures and put more generic pictures up. But this is a nice, huge room. I have my little office area back here. And then the dining table with a really nice chandelier. And then our picture of our lot in Alabama is on the wall there. And then if you come outside, we have our nice pool area. And we actually painted the deck. It was a little bit, well, maybe a lot darker than it is now. And the paint just really brightened it up. And then here's another jacuzzi that we put in a couple years ago. We love this jacuzzi. The one in the garage didn't really, it has powerful jets, but not, the jets only really bubble. They don't really massage you or help you therapeutically. So we sit in this jacuzzi practically every night. So here is the pool. And we have a little sitting area here. And you can see the, that is going to go into the great room. And then we have stairs here that go up onto the roof. So you can actually jump off the roof and into the pool as long as you aim for that 12-foot area right there. So let's go back into the house. And if you walk through the kitchen area, it'll bring you into the game room. And you might hear my laundry going. So we have a nice sitting area back here. And so we used to have, if you've watched our videos before, you may have seen the big fiberglass figures we have of Superman and Spider-Man. So Spider-Man was actually on this wall here with a big city mural painted behind it. And then on this wall here, we had Superman coming out of the wall, and he was painted blue brick. So those came down and they were repainted. And then here's the nice view to the pool and the jacuzzi. And then of course we have Joe's billiard table. And then we also have over there is a ping pong table that can go on top of the billiard table if you want to switch out and play. So this is just I am going to miss this area. This is a great entertaining room. And then through that door there is the laundry room, but I do have laundry going, so we won't go in there. So now if we walk through the kitchen and then down the hall, you'll come to the bedroom areas. This is the guest bath. Let me put the light on. This used to be a really dark green, so we painted this white to brighten it up. And then this room is Sydney's room, but she's taking a nap. And then there's Joe in our office. This is his office where he works. And then I have a little workspace back over in the corner there next to the Murphy bed that pulls down. So yeah, this room has really been cleaned out as well. There was a lot of stuff in here because, as you can imagine, it doubled as 2 offices and a craft room. And then right across the hall is the master bedroom. There's, Joe's reminding me that there's his walk-in closet right there. And then there's my walk-in closet right there. So we have 2 walk-in closets. And then in the master bath, we actually changed out the doors to the shower, which is really nice because I think they still had the original builder grade shower doors on them, which were just old from the 70s. So now we have some really, really nice moving. We couldn't barely even open up the doors before, and now these are really nice. So anyways, that is the house all ready to go. Let's hope that we have lots of showings and that we sell pretty quick. And then hopefully we'll be able to show you our new house pretty soon.
I hope you enjoyed the tour. Thanks for joining us on our journey.
Well, our journey has not been all sunshine and rainbows, and we have been faced with some challenges. So in this video, we're going to talk about those challenges that we've been having with selling our home here in Arizona and starting our build on our new lake home in Alabama. So make sure you stay till the end, and we're going to talk about how we're dealing with these challenges. So first, let's talk about the challenges that we've been having with selling our home. So I went ahead and did some research on the internet to find out what really the market is like today. And this is what I found out. And these figures are all from May. So basically, Phoenix is number 2 on the list of where people are moving to. So that should be good, right? Home prices are up 3.6% compared to last year, but the number of homes sold is down 6.2%. The median days on the market is 51 days, which is up 3 days from last year. And the number of homes that are for sale is up 21.6% year over year. The number of newly listed homes is also up 15.3% year over year. 17.5% of homes have sold above list price, but that is actually down 1.5 points year over year. And 33.7% of homes had price drops, up from 27% last year. So basically what this research is telling me is gone are those bidding wars that used to happen. Though it does still appear to be a seller's market. We are at near record high housing costs, and new listings are still at their historic lows, but the buyers are just backing off because the cost of housing is just too great. So what's been challenging for us? Well, we haven't been getting any showings. Our home is difficult to compare with the rest of the homes in the neighborhood because it's one of the biggest homes. The people that lived here before us, they did a huge expansion. I mean, it's beautiful. We have a huge, huge game room, which we have shown in a prior video, but we do have one of the biggest homes in the neighborhood. That means we typically can't do the price per square foot that you see and match with the rest of the neighborhood, because that would just totally price our home out of the comparables for the rest of the neighborhood. But then at the same time, we don't want to underestimate our home price or our home value as well. So we've been on the market for just over a month, and we've done one price decrease. And we've also advertised that we're helping to pay the closing costs, or help pay the closing costs, or buy down interest for our buyers. We've had several open houses, but the buyers just aren't coming through. Like, we'll have one and maybe one person will come through, and then we'll have another and like 7 groups will come through, and then we'll have another one and like nobody comes through. So it just hasn't been consistent. We did get great feedback from a broker tour that we had. We did have some things that were a challenge that they found, but overall the feedback from that tour was great. But those same brokers are also saying that they're not getting showings on their listings as well. So here we're going to ask you to please send us some good thoughts that we're going to start getting showings. In fact, if you wouldn't mind, if you would just please take a second and type the words "good luck" in the comments below, that would just mean so much to Joe and I. But we do have some things on the plus side of not selling this house so quickly. If we did sell the house quickly, our daughter would have to find temporary living arrangements. She did get a full-time job teaching at a high school, but her job doesn't start until mid-July, and she's never lived away from home before, so she needs to be able to afford an apartment. So that's good. She's been able to stay here, and hopefully by the time we're out of this house, she'll be able to go from here right into an apartment without having to find temporary arrangements. And that also means that we haven't had to find temporary living arrangements either, while we're still working until July 1st, which is just about a week away.
So basically what Tracy's saying is worrying helps, because 90% of the things that we worry about never happen. We did all this research because we were nervous about our house not selling yet, because it's not a light switch and it doesn't go boom, it's for sale, it's sold, like it did with the last time, when Tracy sold her house when moving in here. But we're well within the norms. So average day on market is 51 to 57 days, and we're not even close to that yet. We're optimistic that something's going to happen. People are going to start looking at that one buyer is going to find this house and it's going to sell. The good news is we didn't have to move. We had anticipated having to move 3 times because, if the house sold quick, we'd have to get an apartment so we could live someplace till we retired. And then we do plan on doing the whole renting several apartments, but furnished apartments in different states while we wait on the house to be built. But that's a whole nother plan. But the good news is we're still very optimistic that this house is going to sell. We're looking forward to those comments from you, wishing us good luck in this endeavor. We've been waiting on this moment for what feels like an eternity. Construction on our lakefront dream home has officially started, and let me tell you, we are excited. We're excited about the expansive views of the lake we're going to have. We're excited about our friends there in Alabama and the community we're going to be a part of. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the beginning of the construction progress.
Site work. This took a minute, as the buildable portion of our site is fairly small, and there's an unmovable power pole at the front of the lot. We had to move the box for the location of the house. And this meant that we had to validate with the health department that the house and septic system would still fit. Once this was validated, 3 trees had to be removed. Well, only one was actually within the house boundaries. The other 2 were too close to comfort. Additionally, fill dirt was brought in to level the lot and build the site to accommodate the house.
We want to thank several of our wonderful neighbors for providing us with updates on the progress of this build since we are so far away. This photograph was provided by one of those neighbors. As you can see, it's a cement truck to pour the footings. What are footings? Well, footings distribute the weight of the building evenly across the entire structure so that it doesn't sink into the ground. These next pictures you are seeing show the footings after they are poured into the ground. This is exciting because we can start to conceptualize how our house is going to sit on our lot. The footings are poured and they had to sit for 7 days before the next step. During that time, the supplies were brought to the site for that next step. Now, let's remember why we chose this place to build our dream home, those spectacular sunsets, which we will be able to see from our home.
Half of the screen shows a slow pan across the brick portion of the foundation, which is pretty much where we are at the time we published this video. The other half shows some progress as bricks are being laid, and we can see the aforementioned footings under the construction and appreciate the beautiful views of the lake we will enjoy once this is done. Besides picking the floor plans and blueprints, there were a number of decisions which needed to be made prior to beginning work on the foundation, like the size of the doors and placement of windows and placement of electrical outlets in the floor. We really appreciate the hard work being done by these individuals as they lay the beginnings of the foundation of our future lake home. The top of the walls help us to comprehend how much of the lot had to be built up to support the structure and to make the lot level. This picture provides perspective of how the house will set once it's built.
So our builder went ahead and ordered the front door, and you probably noticed that we didn't use either of the doors when we asked for your help in our this or that video, because unfortunately neither of those doors were available from the vendor. We chose a different door, but unfortunately that one that we agreed on was over budget, so we had to go back, and this is the one that we ended up choosing, which we think is going to look really nice in our house. We also had to get our windows ordered. So this picture shows our 3D rendering of the inside of our house. And you'll notice in the master bedroom, which is in the back on the right, we chose to put an Arcadia door. And that way we basically have a wall of windows in our master bedroom. We also chose to have bigger windows in both the living room and the dining room, as well as a full door window to the patio off of the living room. And then lastly, my favorite room, the craft room, we put a bigger window in there also so I can have a great view of the lake while I'm doing my crafts. So now for the update of the sale of our home in Arizona. Well, unfortunately, our house has not sold yet. But the good news is we have been getting lots of showing requests, and we've had multiple people interested in our home. We've had people come back a second time to view it. We've also had some people reach out to their family members and have them join them at the house and look at it at the same time. That's happened twice, but unfortunately still no offers. So it is hard not to get discouraged through this whole thing. We thought we would be sold by now, but unfortunately that's not the case. And it's the reality of the market, what it is today. So if you're going through the same thing we are right now, we definitely feel it for you. So we really appreciate reading those good luck comments or those words of encouragement. They really do help to keep us going. So back to our builder. He's been really great. He's been sending us daily updates or asking us to make some decisions on some key components of the house.
We did it! We sold our house!
Finally.
It was on the market for 100 days. Today we're going to tell you the saga of the house sale. It was a long and arduous event. So, house was on the market for 100 days, and we finally got an offer. The offer was, well, let's start with, we'd come down on our price over quite a bit.
A lot.
20% plus. And then we get an offer, and he wants another 3% below that, plus he wants $10,000 for other concession for repairs,
which
plus,
is typical in the Phoenix area to have this $10,000 concession towards closing costs and so forth.
Yeah. Plus, he wants us to pay his realtor agent, and he also wants to close in something like 23 days. So we counter the offer a little bit, and he accepted our counter. So then 10 days into the 23 days, he's got his inspection period, which is his right, and he had a house inspection done. And Tracy's going to tell you a little bit about that event.
Yeah, that inspection lasted 5 hours. So the first couple hours was just the inspector. And we met the inspector. We were supposed to be out of the house, but he came a little bit early. So we met the inspector, and Joe talked with him a little bit and found out that the buyer followed the inspector around on the last inspection that he did for him. And you think that would have kicked off a red flag for us. We didn't think about it. We thought maybe this guy owns multiple properties.
And it turned out that he told the inspector that the buyer didn't want to work with him on some plumbing issues.
Right. That should have been our first red flag about this buyer.
So after the inspection, we waited a couple of days, and he gave us a list. And it was a long list of things he wanted done. Granted, this house was built in 1970.
1976. But also, I have to add that we only had these 3 weeks. We had to move our daughter into her apartment. We also had to start our packing and moving going along. So this list
was huge. And some of the stuff on this list I thought were ridiculous, and we just flat out said no. And every time we said no to something, I was thinking, are we going to lose this deal? Because, this is so far only offer. But some of these things were like, he wanted louvers in the attic. He wanted a double vortex drain on the swimming pool. Well, if you replace the drain on the swimming pool, you got to jackhammer the bottom of the pool, which means then you have to resurface the pool. And that code is only required for public swimming pools, not for residential pools, and not for residential pools of our vintage. So,
well, it turns out that he was okay if we went ahead and got the quotes for all the stuff that we agreed to repair. And then we would put that money in escrow. He would do the repairs, since it was now such a quick turnaround, draw the money from escrow, and then whatever was left over, we would get back. So Joe and I took an entire day away from our packing and all the stuff that we had to do to hammer out these quotes. And it wasn't easy. We really had to set our heads down and
part of
do
our
it.
counter was we math in my quick brain. I said, okay, this is going to cost this much, that much. And I estimated that repairs were going to cost around $11,000. So that was part of our counter.
But first, he was thinking that we would just give him another 3% and not worry about it. And we're like, no, these repairs are not going to cost 3% of the purchase price. So that's why we went ahead and got the quotes.
And then, so we got the quotes, we turned them in, and he looked at these and he's like, there's no way you can do this for that much money. So now our realtor's like, well, let's just see how much work we can get done and leave the rest for escrow.
So then we got on that.
And we were on that. Every day we were putting in long days with contractors and packing our stuff. And we get almost everything done. There was one thing on the list. One of the things he wanted was both in the garage. There were, besides the garage door, there's a door to the side of the house and door of the house. He wanted both those doors replaced with fire rated doors. We said no to the one that goes to the house because it was a beautiful door. And if we put in a fire rated door, it'd be an ugly door. that definitely would be an upgrade. And then the one to the outside, really there was nothing wrong, and it was properly rated, but it had it stuck a little. So you just, it's an old door. You just plane it and fix it and paint it, and it would have been fine. But he actually wanted to replace on that one. Now there was another door he had an issue with in the game room. Big glass Arcadia doors and 2 side panels of glass. That he specifically called out with pictures in his reports, and these are, we understood it, that there was a gap between the doors when they closed. Mm-hmm. They did not open and close easily, and there was a small gap on the supporting side panel where the glass was separating from the frame. So this stated clearly in his request that it was to be repaired or replaced. Well, replace on that door was a lot of money, and
$6,000.
And repair was probably in the neighborhood of, after 3 quotes, $400 to $600. Yeah. So we went with repair, and we got all these things done. And when we were done, there was no gap when you closed it. It locked well.
It worked beautiful. We were like, why haven't we done this before? It worked beautiful.
And just a little bit of one long screw to pull that glass into place, and a little bit of caulking to make it look really good. Mm-hmm. There were no problems
with stripping.
It was beautiful, and it worked. Okay. I mean, it was, but we'll get back to that later.
So now, the day before,
we had a whole lot of other stuff on the list. Like we had to repair the roof, and there were, I don't know, you know how many nails there are on a roof. Well, there were 20 exposed nails. So normally you just take some liquid nails and put on top of that, and they wouldn't be exposed anymore. But this had to be done by licensed professionals, so I couldn't do it. So we had to pay somebody to come do this and put some sealing around the air conditioners and some other stuff. There was some fascia that was a little bit rotted.
I understood that one.
We understood that. Yeah. And we got those things replaced or repaired.
There was probably some things that I was surprised that he didn't call out that he wanted repaired. So.
And then the pool drain light, the pool light had to be replaced. And that was tricky because we ended up having 4 different companies come out trying to replace that. And they were having a really hard time pulling the wiring through from the pump all the way out to the pool light to replace it. And they were about ready to give up, and we were going to have to tell them we can't do that. Mm-hmm. And then luckily, last second, when the last company was about to give up, it pulled through.
We were in the house talking, and all of a sudden we heard, "Yeah, we did it!" And we were just like so happy that it happened.
Yeah. So that was long. Anyhow, so all this stuff when we're getting packed.
So okay, now it's the day before escrow is supposed to close, and number one, we hear that he wants to move up escrow to the day before, and we're like,
we still have our pods that we're not even half done filling with all of our stuff. We had to pull stuff that we'd put in storage to stage the house, bring that back and put it in the pods. Mm-hmm. We had a lot to do, and we were pulling all-nighters already.
And so they were kind of kicking back on that, like, no, we want to close a day early. And so we finally said, listen, do you want to close to a dirty house, or do you want to close to a clean house? Take your pick, because that's what we can do. So they finally agreed to keep the escrow the same day that it was originally supposed to close. And then also the day before escrow was supposed to close, the buyer did his walkthrough. Well, he was not happy with the walkthrough, specifically the sliding door.
He also found some things that he should have seen on the initial walkthrough that he wanted replaced, but the deal's already done. We can't add to the to-do list at this point. We thought.
So also by this point, our realtor is telling us that our buyer is crazy. When at first, our realtor met the buyer during the inspection because the inspector was there for 3 hours. Then the buyer came and was there for like another 2 hours, but our realtor was there for part of the time. And he thought he was a pretty cool guy, but that was in the beginning. Towards the end, our realtor thought this guy was crazy. But it turns out he was not happy with the beautiful repair that we did on this window. And we think all along he wanted a new window. He wanted it replaced. He wasn't going for the repair.
Even though we put it there. So we wasted $600. And so then he wanted us to replace the door. And we're we're at the point I wanted to say no to this deal, because if you give in here, what's next? And what's next? And how long is this going to go on? And so I was pushing back, but Tracy was like, oh, it's just $6,000. Just $6,000.
Well, we didn't have any other buyers. This guy was a single dude. It was just like how Joe was when he bought the house. I mean, it wasn't a family house.
So the agents.
But first, he said that he was going to hold up the close of escrow unless we did something about the door. And so, sleepless night, we couldn't eat. I mean, it was just so stressful.
Anyhow, so I ended up, they did a deal with him where each of the agents gave up $2,000 of their money, and we gave up $2,000 more.
So think about it. Think about how bad this guy's own realtor must have thought about the deal to give up $2,000 of their own commission just to get this deal done.
Anyhow, so we got the deal done, and the house is sold. Then the next day, he finally signed, and the check's already been deposited in my bank account, and he calls in with more complaints and wanted us to fix it. Anyhow, the nightmare's over. We told him no, pound sand, and he went back. He went against our agent, back to our agent and his broker, and it's still between him and us, and he doesn't have a legal leg to stand on, so we're just done.
But we're waiting to see if we hear. I mean, he, like Joe said, it does not have a legal leg to stand on, but the balls, sorry my French, to come back afterwards and ask us for more stuff. So anyways, apologize profusely to our neighbors across the street for the buyer the neighbor that we just left them with.
So, and long story short, the house is sold and we are homeless, and our next video will tell you about what we're doing now while we wait for our new house to be built, and how our lives are progressing. But thanks for joining us on this journey.
Well, we're in Alabama. We get to meet with our builder on site today. And so this is what the house looks like when you approach the property from the road. You'll see we've angled it a little funny, so you see mostly our driveway, and then the master bathroom and the window for the finished room over the garage. And then if you're coming the other direction on the road, you'll see the front of the house, and we'll show that a little better in a minute. Also, while we're here on this trip, we're going to meet with our interior designer to help us pick not only the house colors, but the colors for the flooring, carpet, tiles, backsplashes, etc., and even interior paints. So we get all those decisions made. Exciting changes. And then, so this is what the front of the house looks like. You can see that the front door is in place. It will eventually be stained to match the pillars there on the porch. And then you can see that wonderful lake view that we'll enjoy from within the house in the background. And then in a minute, you'll see the back of the house, and we'll see the step there where we'll need to put some stairs out the Arcadia door to our master bedroom, and then the porch.
I wasn't expecting to be able to go on the inside of the house, so I was so excited. But here we are in the family room area. That was the fireplace. And where Joe is standing right there will be the island to the kitchen. And then he's facing the area where the cabinets will be. Our builder is walking into the dining area. And then this, I'm so excited about, is going to be my butler's pantry with lots of storage, which is something that was definitely lacking in our old house, was lots of storage. Here we're looking into Joe's office, and that was the garage. And now we're going to come through into the master bedroom area. But first, okay, here's the master bedroom, and we'll have a nice Arcadia door to give us that view of the lake. And now we're walking into the master bathroom. Here's going to be a nice jetted bathtub, and then the shower. And then we're going to have two vanities, one on each side of the entryway.
And then here is the water closet. And then this right here is the master closet. And then we'll come back around, back through the master bedroom, looking at that view that we'll get to wake up to each morning. Today was kind of a gloomy day. And then here is the garage. There's a little storage room off the garage. And then these stairs go up to the room over the garage. It's going to be unfinished for now. We will end up finishing it later. Now we're back into the dining area, which is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Now we're walking back through the kitchen and living area and going into the guest bedroom. So that's leads into a hallway, and then this is the guest bath area. The tub is already in there, and then back there is going to be my craft room. And then last, here is another view of Joe's office. Super excited to be able to see how this progresses. And then here is another view of the room above the garage that it's going to be left unfinished for now. It just didn't fit into the budget to finish it at this time.
As you've known from previous videos, we sold our house in Arizona, and we're using the proceeds from that sale to fund the build of the new house. So for a little while, we're homeless, and that's not a bad thing. We're making the best of a situation. We've decided we're going to travel and spend a month in various places around the country while we wait for this to happen. Today, if you can see behind us, you'll see that beautiful lake behind us. That is Lake of the Ozarks. We're in Missouri, and it is beautiful here. The weather is perfect.
Yes, being from the Midwest, I don't ever remember it being this nice in October, but the weather has been beautiful. But I have to say that the first couple days that we've been here, they were a little hard for me because being a nomad right now, it's just not something that's in our routine. And I don't feel grounded, which is weird, but I have to remember that we're lucky to be able to do this. And even if I don't have my things here to help me make me feel comfortable, I need to remember to take advantage of the situation and enjoy where we are and enjoy that we are able to be able to do things like this and see sights and places that we've never been before. So
we may do subsequent videos where we talk about we're doing all the touristy things here, and we've made some friends and we've gotten out on boats, and pretty soon the weather's gonna not be as nice as it is now, so we're gonna move on, and we've scheduled our next place to live in the Galveston area. And while we're there, we've booked a cruise.
yeah, we found a last minute deal on the Regal Princess. It's a 7-night cruise, and it goes to Costa Maya, Roatan in Honduras, and Cozumel, places that we've never been to before. It's going to be a little bit weird because they don't have the wardrobe to go on a cruise. So it might be a little different than other cruises that we've been on. We might not be able to take advantage of all the formal nights unless we get lucky and find something spectacular to wear in the meantime, but it'll be fun.
We've also thought about maybe making some videos about our dog. He is living his best life.
He sure is.
He is loving this traveling life. And, well, we'll talk about that in other videos.
Hi, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Let me give you a tour of our house now that we have walls. So first of all, what I want to point out is because we had you guys help us in a previous video choosing a front door and lighting. And unfortunately, both the front doors that Joe and I liked were way out of budget. So this is what we ended up with. And these are going to be painted a nice chocolatey walnut color. But aren't they really pretty? And then this is where the light is going to go that you guys helped us pick out. So this is, of course, the front entryway. And then right off the front entryway is Joe's office, which has these gorgeous, huge windows overlooking that beautiful view. And then Joe also had them run the networking cable. He's going to put a shelf up here with all his networking equipment, and then electrical coming out through the floor. And he's got a nice closet. And then all through the house, you'll see cutouts in the ceiling, and those are going to be for canned lighting. And then if you come this way, back through the entryway, you'll get a sneak peek of the great room area, but we'll get to that part in just a moment. Let's take you to the guest wing first, because here is where our guests will be staying when they come and visit us. And they also have a beautiful view. Of course, it's fall now and the leaves are changing. What a great view. This one's going to have a ceiling fan and a nice big closet. And then if we come through the hallway, this is the guest bathroom, 2 vanities. We envisioned some lighted LED mirrors here, and a beautiful view of the lake from this angle. And then this is where the toilet is going to go. There's electrical next to the toilet for the bidet that we're going to install. And then this is the shower and tub. And then here is a closet for linens. And then if we go down the hall, here's going to be another linen closet. And then my favorite room in the house, my craft room. And look how nice and bright it is in here during this time of the day. I have this nice view of the lake. There's going to be a built-in desk on this wall, so I get to sit here and work and look out at the lake. And then we also have this nice long window here that gives a different view of the lake. And then I envision a stainless steel table in the middle of the room so I can do some work here. And then we also have a nice big closet and the ceiling fan. So let's go back through the hallway. And then this is the great room area. This is the family room with the fireplace, and the TV will be up here. This is going to be a nice brown brick with a wood mantle, and it's layered for the TV. This will be built-in bookshelves with networking cable here as well. And then we had them install bigger windows here so we can have this gorgeous view. This is where the sunset views come in. And then this is going to be a door leading out to the patio, and it's going to be a window door, so we'll have that nice view there. And then here is the kitchen area. This right here is where the island will be with the sink and the dishwasher. And then along here are cabinets with the stove and microwave, refrigerator. And then there's another cabinet here. And then one of my other favorite parts of the house is going to be this butler's pantry, which will have cabinets along the perimeter of the room. And it even has its own nice little window with a view. Of course, that porta potty will be gone by the time we move in. And then this is the dining room. And look at that gorgeous view with the sun shining down on the water. So let's now go into the master suite area. Here is the master bedroom. And this room has tray ceilings with the canned lights and a ceiling fan. And we had them install a slider door here so we can have a nice big view of the water. It does have a little bit of a drop off, so we're going to have to put some stairs here, but that's okay. And then if we come through here, this is the bathroom area. We have 2 vanities, one on each side of the doorway. And we are also going to have some lighted mirrors here. And if you come this way, this is the walk-in shower. And we're going to have them install 2 shower heads here. And then I'll have a stool so I can put my leg up and shave my legs. And then of course the nice cutout for your shampoos and soaps. And then here is where the jetted tub is going to go, with some natural light coming in, tempered glass so the neighbors can't watch us taking a bath. And then the water closet with electrical by the toilet so we can install our bidet. And then here is the master closet, Joe's area, and then my area. And then here, they're going to cut out this wall here to put a pass-through to the laundry room so we can pass our dirty clothes. Come on, I'll show you what that's going to look like. Let's go back through the master bedroom. And then here is the utility room. This is going to be the pass-through with the washer and dryer, and I'm going to have some shelves up along here. So this house is going to have lots of storage. This is a mudroom area. We'll probably have some kind of locker type thing with seating so you can put your muddy shoes. And then up here is going to be an unfinished room over the garage. This wasn't in the budget to finish. This is going to be Joe's new hobby. So basically, this area is going to be framed out, and his pool table is going to go up here. And we envision a wet bar to go here. And of course, there's some windows up here so we get the great view. So let's go back downstairs. And then off to the side here is the garage. Nice, huge 2-car garage with windows. And then we have a little storage area off the side here. And that's where the water heater is going to go. So that's it. This is our new house with walls. We're so excited to see the progress that has been happening here, and we can't wait to see more.
Today, we're going to give you an update on the progress of our lake home build in Alabama.
Yeah, so sit back, relax, and enjoy.
On our last trip to Alabama, we picked what we think is the perfect place for our boathouse build. We angled the house so that it has the best views of the lake, slough, and sunsets from common areas. We have 150 feet of shoreline, and we decided to put the boathouse on the south end of that, which would not obstruct those views, but create a new and spectacular view from Tracy's craft room. Once we picked the basic location, then we worked with a craftsman who began plotting out the bottom of the lake and made us aware of a drift that we had to avoid. And coincidentally, and to our advantage, angling this gives with the western exposure gives us the safest approach and optimal views from the boathouse, and we'll be able to have year-round water. We don't have a boat yet. We are looking probably in March or April to purchase a 25-foot Tritoon with 200 to 250 horsepower Suzuki motor based on the recommendations of a friend and our mechanic in the area. So if you know of anything, please let us know. Other features that we have on our boathouse include locking storage, because we will have things that we don't want to haul to the house that need to be kept under lock and key for kayaking, fishing, boating, etc. We also deemed it very important that we build this with a wheelchair accessible ramp so that we can enjoy this feature of our lake house build well into our retirement. We can also envision ourselves sitting out with lawn chairs on this deck and enjoy those sunsets. We've already installed the boat lift for this, and look forward to enjoying this and fishing even from the boathouse in the very near future. We'll also be storing kayaks along that pier so that they're easily accessible.
We were so happy to learn that our home build came with interior design services. So what she did was she showed us groupings of items that were within the budget, and we were able to go through and select our choices. So I'm glad that happened because it is very overwhelming when you're doing that many decisions. So this first shot is the flooring that we are going to be having throughout the home, except for the master bath and the bedrooms. All the bedrooms will have carpeting in this color magnitude. Here are the tile selections for the master bath. The one on the right is for the floor, and the one on the left is for the shower stall, and we are choosing to have a light grout color with that. Here are the tiles for the shower pan and the shampoo cutout, and the same thing with the grout color to match, because I just didn't want to have a high contrast of grout to tile. Our designer sent us these pictures while the tile was still in progress. Looks like the grout still needs to be added, but I'm loving it. Even though the flooring looks a little bit darker than I was expecting, it is still looking amazing. This is what we selected for the kitchen countertop and backsplash. I didn't want a lot of veining in my kitchen countertop, so this one is perfect. And the subway tile on the top is a shiny subway with a texture in it. And the look I was going for was something classy and not trendy, so hopefully it would stand the test of time. You may recall from prior videos that I was struggling with the color of the kitchen cabinets, and I had decided that I wanted to go with a light wood finish, but then we found out that that would add considerably amount to the cost of the build because our home builder makes the cabinets himself. So then, after talking with our interior designer, we ended up on this iron ore color, and that color is going to go on the island and also the cabinet in the butler's pantry and the bathrooms. And then the cabinets in the back of the kitchen are going to be white, and I think I'm going to love it. We were able to get a sneak peek of these cabinets. So here's the one in the master bathroom, and then the kitchen, and you can kind of see the one in the butler's pantry peeking out in that back corner there, and the rest of the kitchen. So I'm getting so excited. And then here's the tile that's going to be over the fireplace and the color of the grout. And I'm just so glad that we had the service of that designer, as she really helped us to make sure that everything coordinated and everything flowed from room to room. Originally, I was thinking I wanted the house to be white with black trim, but while we were at Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri, we kept seeing these dark blue homes with black roofs, and we just fell in love with it. And we thought it would look really good next to the lake. So that's the color that we ended up deciding.
Our jetted bathtub is out of the box but not yet installed. You can see where it's going to land there in the primary underneath that tempered glass. Our last update, the sliding door was installed along with the drywall, but now windows and doors are trimmed out and vents are in place for that heating and cooling. Locks are installed. Here we see patio access and the dining room window with baseboards in place. When building a house, you get to think about and pick things you never even think about in normal life, like what color are your hinges? What's the color of the hardware in the door frame? What doorknobs do you like? What light switches? What lighting do you like? Things that normally we just take for granted are part of our selection process in building a house. This is that view we spoke of earlier of the boathouse through Tracy's craft room side window. I can almost hear the boat calling her for a sunset expedition or a fishing trip. While flooring, plumbing, and electrical are not yet in place, it is fun to see the house take shape with the doors hung and the trim in place. More progress. We can see that the electrician has started to work his magic. Soon we will see light switches and electric outlets and network jacks in places we currently just see these holes. The house has been moved to its permanent power source. Yay, the septic system is now installed. This is a major milestone and one of our biggest concerns when selecting this home to be built on this lot, because the buildable portion of our lot is very small, but now they coexist. And we can now begin on the next step, which is internal plumbing, so that our toilets and bathtubs and showers all work as expected. These major milestones were hit just before a winter storm fell and left the house looking like this. Not my ideal of my dream home, but Tracy thinks it's beautiful, and if she's happy, I'm happy.
So that's where we are as of today, and we want to thank our neighbors for sending us those great pictures, because we are here in Phoenix, Arizona now, but we've been getting communications almost daily from our builders. So it seems like things are starting to ramp up and move a little bit faster on this build.
And some of those decisions, we might need to be in that space to make the perfect decision. So we're going to be there for a little bit. And in just a little bit, first we're going to run a quick cruise, might do a video on that. And then we're hitting the road again.
Well, we are on the road again. We decided to leave a day early. We don't have to be in Alabama until February 6th. But unfortunately, Joe is coming down with a cold. Hopefully I don't follow suit. So we decided to, rather than have an intense 2 days drive, that we would do more of a leisurely, watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead, a leisurely 3-day drive. So,
But we didn't get out of town until almost 3 p.m.
yeah, it's 2:59 p.m. Mountain Time right now. So we're gonna try and make it to El Paso tonight, which is a 5.5-hour drive, and we'll get a hotel there, and then we'll see where we end up tomorrow. This is what our view looks like right now. We got a kayak on top. We have a kayak in Alabama already, and then we have one more that we still need to bring. But here is the desert through my dirty windows. And this is Oggy's little setup here. He just lays in the middle on his bed and he sleeps the whole time there. Well, it is day 2 of our road trip. We stayed the night in El Paso last night, or kind of outside of El Paso. It was a really nice hotel. I got a good night's sleep. Unfortunately, Joe did not get a good night's sleep. He is sick with a cold, but what a trooper, wanting to do this drive. We talked about staying in Arizona for a couple more days, but he wanted to get it done. Oggy has been so good. He just sleeps in the middle of the car. So tonight we're going to try and make it to Fort Worth for the night. Maybe we'll go a little bit longer. We'll see what it takes us. But in case you're wondering about West Texas, there's nothing to see here. I'm not even going to turn the camera around. It's pretty desolate. And unfortunately, this drive is 2 days in Texas, so we'll see what things we might see later. Well, we just stopped in Odessa, Texas for late lunch. I feel like we've stepped into an episode of Landman with all the oil rigs, and it definitely smells like oil in the air. And we also had an interesting experience with a huge rock coming off of a big truck, hitting our windshield and totally cracking it. But luckily we were able to pull the driver over, and he gave us his company information, and it sounds like hopefully they're going to pay for the damages. They want us to bring them 3 quotes, so hopefully that'll be okay.
If not, we have glass insurance.
Right. So anyways, we have about just under 5 more hours to get to Fort Worth, so we're going to see if we can do that and we'll catch up later. So today is the last day of our car ride. We have about an 8.5-hour drive to get to Birmingham. And Joe's really been a trooper because he's really sick right now. He feels like he's just very achy and a sore throat, but he's been powering through. And I wanted to mention, we've been staying in hotel rooms that we've been finding on an app called Bring Fido. We heard about this from the Colellos. Thanks so much for telling us about this app. But it's really great. You can look for hotels and restaurants to go to that are dog friendly. But the first hotel we found, it was a Candlewood Suites, and that one was in El Paso. That one was an awesome, super, super clean hotel. It was about, I want to say, $138. Last night we stayed, we're in Terrell, Texas, which is just east of Dallas. There wasn't too many options when we were deciding where we were going to stay. We only paid $70 for this room, and it was gross. It was Quality Inn in Terrell, Texas. Don't stay there. There was some really gross handprints on this wood headboard when we got here that we had to wipe off. And I got out of the shower this morning and picked out my towel, and there was some blood splatter on there. So we're glad to get out of here. And just another 8.5-hour drive, and I'm feeling more and more excited as each hour ticks down, because I'm feeling like this chapter of our life where we're homeless is starting to wind up. So we still don't know when the house is going to be ready yet, but at least it's just getting closer and closer by the day. So I see it's time for us to get on the road, and we'll check back later. Look what we found. Time to go in and get some breakfast and some key lime pie pudding. My favorite.
Louisiana.
Welcome to Mississippi.
Mississippi, yay! Mississippi, 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 sweet home Alabama.
Well, we just got to our house in Birmingham, and it is super cute. I'm so glad. Washer and dryer inside. Nice little kitchen. And they left all the lights on for us, which is really nice. And then, hello. And then here is a living area with a fireplace. And then in here, there's actually another living area.
With a big ass TV.
Some comfy chairs, which we so need after our last place, and a really big TV. And then this looks like the front door, but
A little sunroom out here.
yeah, so cute. Plants. Oh gosh, do they expect me to take care of these plants? Sitting area. And then let's see, I think we go this way to the master bedroom with a king size bed. It looks so comfy. I'm ready for comfy beds. And then here is a bathroom. It just has one bathroom. And then there is another bedroom in here. Very cute. And then a third bedroom with a little bed. And here we go. So cute. I'm very happy. Very happy.
Big fenced yard.
Yes. Welcome to our house. We're so excited, but don't tell our builder because we kind of broke in. But we wanted to show you the things that are new since the last we have shown you. And the first being the color of the house. This gorgeous dark blue color. We have it going horizontal along the facing of the house, but under the gables, we have it going vertical. And then underneath, they have white vinyl under the roof, and it just makes it look so classy, and tons of recessed lighting. It's going to be so pretty. This door is going to be painted a walnut color. And then you come in and they have our entry light hung. And then we are so excited to see that the floor is in. This floor goes through the entire length of the house, except for the bedrooms, which you can see right here. We have this brown carpeting, and this is the guest room. They have the ceiling fans in. Let's go to the guest bathroom. Here's all the cabinetry. They're still working on it. It's a black iron color, and the countertop is the same as the kitchen with just minimal vining. The lights we chose, and then nothing's really changed in this room except for the standard light. And then, of course, the carpeting and the light in my craft room with that gorgeous view. I'm so excited to be able to get to use this room and look at the boathouse and the nice calm water of the lake. Let's go to the great room. You can see this huge fan that we chose, and this has LED lighting, so we'll be able to change the colors or the warm and cool. They put a mantle over the fireplace, which it's going to be painted a nice walnut color. Some lovely built-ins. Of course, they're still working on it. And then here is the kitchen island. This is the same color of the cabinets in the bathroom with the same countertop and the white cabinets in the back. And if you'll notice, the back cabinets have a black pull, whereas the black cabinets have a bronze pull. And this was a nice feature that I didn't know we were getting for our waste baskets. So one of my other favorite rooms of the house, this is my butler's pantry with lots of storage here. And we're gonna have some shelving. And then also, you see this hole busted out through here. This is gonna be a pass-through to the garage. So that way, when we get home with our groceries, we can just put them through the pass-through and place them here to put away. And then, oh, I was excited to see this. The plans just call for recessed lighting in the kitchen, but I really wanted to have pendant lights. And when we came in and saw that, nope, it was just recessed lighting. But then we saw the boxes of the pendant lights that I picked out. So I'm so excited that I'm gonna get those. Let's now go over to, oh wait, first before we go there, the light bulbs aren't in it yet, but here is my light fixture over the dining room. And of course, the beautiful view. So let's carry on to the next wing of the house. This is the hallway. This is going to be a little mud area with the nice cabinets. And then this is another thing we were excited about. We were thinking there was just going to be wire shelving in here, but we have beautiful cabinetry in our utility room. And it looks like these two are waiting. They're going to be up on the wall over the washer and dryer. And then you see another cutout here. This is going to the master closet, so that way we can pass laundry through back and forth between the closet and the utility room. Then here's the master bedroom, and look at this gorgeous ceiling with the recessed lighting and the tray ceiling and the crown molding. And of course, my beautiful view, which will be nicer once we get that tree stump out of the way. And then here's the master bath. The flooring is different in here. It's a tile flooring that goes around where the tub is. This is going to be where the toilet is. And then of course I have our vanities, and these are on both sides of the door, with the exception of this tall vanity. And our beautiful, we wanted a spa-like look in here, so we picked out those light fixtures, and we're also going to have some LED lit mirrors over both of the vanities. And then if we come over here, this is the walk-in shower, and love the tile that we chose and the shower pan. And then I also have a cutout in here so I can rest my foot to shave my legs. Beautiful. I'm so excited. And then over on that side is the walk-in closet, but they have not put in the shelves yet for the walk-in closet. So that is it. They did put a door on. This is going to be the upper level. The build out of this is not included in our price, but we will be building out for Joe's man cave upstairs. So that's everything that's been done so far. We're so excited. I can't wait to see how it's going to progress in the next few weeks. And here we are on our boathouse. I'm just so excited. And we have our neighbor dog, Pete, making an appearance in this video. She welcomed us. But anyways, some things that we were excited about that we weren't expecting is we have this nice ladder here to climb out of the water. And then we also, if you follow me this way, have these hidden cleats. And so we can have visiting boats tie up on this side of the dock as also on the other side of the dock. And then here is our state-of-the-art boat lift, which will raise our boat out of the water to protect the bottom. And you can see over there, that is our nearest neighbor is down that far. So we love that we're not neighbors on top of each other. And then in the background is our other neighbor's house, who Pete, that's where Pete lives. And then we also have a locking storage cabinet over here. You might notice that the water level is really low, and that is because we were in winter pool right now. So they do lower the lake levels, but we did build the dock out far enough. So we should still have 4 feet of water in which we can put our pontoon boat and be able to enjoy the lake year round. It's snowing. So it looks like they got the tub in place and the toilets are in and they're working, but it looks like they still need to do some electrical work in here, put the fixtures in. And then Joe and I dropped off these mirrors. These are LED lit mirrors, and they have something to defog the mirror, and you can change the light on them from warm to cool. So I'm very excited about those. So here's the bathtub in more details. Joe and I loved our jacuzzi back at our Arizona house. We don't have one here, so we were kind of hoping to get a jacuzzi-ish style tub. So, and I'm hoping to hang that chandelier that we bought from Home Depot right there. It'll look so cute. The painters are here painting today, but I just wanted to show that we've got all of our fixtures installed. Sausage balls. Oh my God. So good. So good. Guess this is a new store we're gonna have to start shopping at. What you looking at, honey?
Gotta mow the lawn. We got a lot of lawn to mow. It's gonna be expensive.
So here's something you don't see a lot of in Arizona. Something that I guess we're gonna have to look into maybe. Back at the hardware store, this time buying stuff to build our mailbox. And we only need 2 tools to put it together. So what do we have to buy? A 267-piece set. Boy math. Our deck is up. That was a last minute decision. And our driveway is in. Here's our deck from the bedroom. Looks nice.
Handles around the door.
So our appliances are in, except for the refrigerator. Unfortunately, the refrigerator we picked out because of that wall right there and then the door to the pantry. We couldn't get the door to the refrigerator to open, even though it fit in the hole. So we had to send it back and get a smaller refrigerator. But here is the stove we picked out. We went with the Frigidaire Professional Series, well, except for the refrigerator. And this is an induction cooktop stove, which I'm really excited about. Apparently it's supposed to act like gas or have the control of gas, but in electric. And it looks like we have to scrape off the plastic that was on it. Doesn't look like it's hooked up to the breaker yet, but very excited. And then the microwave. Ooh, fancy. I know the microwave has all these bells and whistles on it that I don't know that I'm ever gonna use, but why not? And then the dishwasher. Very nice. So we're definitely getting close. We still don't have backsplash tile up yet, or the tile on the fireplace, but we did hear from our builder that hopefully it will be done by next month. So very excited about that. We're gonna get that hole dug yet. So we got the hole dug, and then we poured in this like instant cement type of stuff. So now it just has to set for a couple hours, and then we can finish the box. Finally, we got the screws to fit, and we are almost done. I think we're done. We have a mailbox installed by me and Joe. The backsplash is in and it looks amazing. It's over here also. And then they also have the brick on the fireplace. Looks so good. They've also installed our mirrors. Just trying to see how, oh, this is I think the defogger.
Yeah.
This changes the color, and that turns it on and off. Awesome. So it looks like they are also running the power for the lights or electricity out to the dock. We see signs of a trench here from the house. So, yay, progress is being made. So the mantle has been stained. I love the walnut color. It's looking really nice with the brick that we chose for the fireplace. So the front door will also be painted that same color, though it might look a little bit different because the door isn't wood, it's vinyl, but it will be painted that same walnut color, as well as the posts outside. Those will also be painted that walnut color. So it's gonna look really nice. Well, good news, the refrigerator is in, yay. This is not the refrigerator that we originally wanted, but the one that we originally wanted was apparently too big, and that door would not open. So we had to get a smaller option. We weren't able to stay with the Frigidaire brand that the rest of our appliances are. This one is a KitchenAid, but we tried to match the handles. And this one looks like the water is on the inside versus in the door. So it's not what we wanted, but I guess it is what it is. As long as the door opens and we can access it, that's what counts. So Joe got a new toy. Well, actually, it's not a toy because we need it to be able to mow our 1 acre parcel. But we got a really good deal on this riding mower. The guy that we bought it from is actually a salesman at a John Deere. And this came in as a turnback or a trade or whatever. And so he bought it and then made it brand new, basically, again. And so we got a screaming deal on this John Deere. So one thing checked off our list. Looks like they also have the shelving in. Here's the master closet. And we ended up paying extra for this shelving because the typical shelving out here is wire racks. And I did not want wire racks after the fiasco of my old master closet with wire racks all came crashing down. So it was worth it to pay extra for this. And they did all the other shelving in the house also. I'll take you to show you. Here is the shelving in the butler's pantry. So love it. Lots and lots of storage. But I'm also just so excited about these cabinets. And then here is the pass through to the garage. And the idea is when we get home and unload our groceries, we just pass them through to this cabinet here. And then I can go ahead and put everything away either in the refrigerator or in these shelves. And then in Joe's office, they put this kind of shelving in. So, looks like they're just doing little things. They really have to clean up in here, and our builder said he was going to have cleaners come through. But today is Tuesday, and our U-boxes are being delivered on Thursday, and movers are coming to help us unpack the U-boxes on Friday. So it is getting real. So even though our movers are coming to help us unpack the U-boxes on Friday, one thing that we didn't know was that it was our responsibility to secure the propane tank because our water heater is gas powered because it's a water heater on demand. And then also the fireplace, we didn't know that this house plan doesn't have a chimney. So we have to do gas fireplace, the ventless logs here. So they can't come to do the site selection for the propane tank until Thursday. And who knows how long it's going to take to hook it up. Hopefully not that long. So even though we'll be moving our stuff in here, we might not be able to stay here until the propane is hooked up, just so we can have hot showers and hot water. But we do still have our rental in Birmingham until the end of the month. The house is done with just some outdoor things and a few minor things on the inside, but we can move in. Let's go ahead and take a tour of the house. So here is the entryway. Light fixture. I love the color of the walnut doors. And then immediately off the entryway is Joe's office and his wonderful view. And he gets a nice closet with storage. And then if we go off to the left, this is where the guest room is. And they get a nice view of the trees in our car for now. And some nice closets. Closets are done. And then down the hallway, guest bath, 2 sinks, lots and lots of storage, middle storage. Here's one of the knobs that they still have to put on the bathroom door. And here's the shower. And then it is a very, very windy day today, but there you get a peek of our boathouse. Then we'll come back down the hallway and we have a linen closet here with lots of shelves. And there's some of the curtains I bought. I don't know if you watched our last video, I believe, when I went over the amazing curtain deals I found at JCPenney. And then this is my craft room. And I'm gonna get this amazing view of our boathouse. And then there's Oggy running around the yard. Hopefully Joe's behind him. And then I have the same closet that was in the guest room. And then we'll come back down the hallway into the great room. So here is the built-in entertainment, bookshelves, fireplace. Looks like we have to buy the gas logs. And then we're gonna mount the TV over the fireplace. And then here's our wonderful view from the family room. And then we opted to, instead of one window here, we opted to have a door. And then here's our dining room. Looks like we have to buy some light bulbs for that lamp fixture. And we picked up this table on Facebook Marketplace. I thought a round table would be perfect in here, and it has a leaf, so it'll extend into an oval. But my plan is to replace these chairs with some fabric, like perhaps maybe a tufted upholstered fabric chair, and I think that's just gonna look so cute there. And then here is the kitchen. So much storage. I'm just not used to having this much storage, so I am just so excited about that. And then I'm sure these are standard now, but we didn't have these before. But it has the soft close doors. And if you're wondering what this is, since we came from Arizona, it wasn't safe to drink the tap water in Arizona. So we would have reverse osmosis water, and that's what that is. I guess since we're used to it, we decided to put reverse osmosis water in this house as well. And then this is going to be new to me. This is an induction cooktop. So I'm going to need to learn how to use that. And then this is nice also. We have some more storage here. So, and then behind this door, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here right now, but this is the butler's pantry. So I have some cabinets down here with a nice countertop. And then this right here is a pass-through to the garage. And so when we come home and unload our groceries, we'll be able to pass them through here. And I can put them away on the shelves or in the freezer and refrigerator. So let's come this way and we'll go into, this is the mudroom area. And our builder made all of these cabinets himself. So we decided to, I'll probably do some cushions here so you can sit down and take your shoes off. And that's where the garage is. This door here goes up to an unfinished room over the garage. And so eventually that will be Joe's man cave. And then here is the laundry room. I got cabinets in here also, which is great. And this is the same countertop that was in the kitchen. I have cabinets here. And then that is a pass-through to the master closet. So we could just pass over our dirty clothes through here or the clean clothes, and then they'll be ready to be put away. And then here is the master bedroom. And I love the detail with the tray ceilings. And the size of this master is wonderful. So we're trying to figure out, I think what we want to do is put the bed this way so we can wake up and see that view. But like I said, it is very, very windy today. So the lake looks dirty. It doesn't usually look that dirty. And then this was a last minute choice to build the deck off of the master, and I'm so glad we did. So we'll probably put a little seating area out there, and we might also put a fence around there and then a dog door in this window, so that way Oggy can go out and he'll just go down the stairs and have a little fenced area to go. And then here is the master bath, their jetted jacuzzi tub. And looks like we still have to put in our light. And we bought a bidet with a heated toilet seat. And then we bought these LED lighted mirrors. We still have to take the film off, but these are nice because you can turn on the switch to have them unfog. And then you can change the light to either warm or cool. And then here is the shower. We opted to have 2 shower heads. So, and I have also an area here I can put my foot and shave my legs. So we have 2 vanities and a nice linen closet there. And then now this light here, it's upside down right now in this picture, but we are going to install it right there. So we'll have that beautiful chandelier over the tub. And then here is the water closet. That's where that bidet is going to go with the heated seat, but we're also going to put a bidet with a heated seat in the guest bath. And then nice big cabinets for towels and such. And then here is the master closet. And we opted to have these built in instead of wire racks because, and I mentioned this in my last video, we had an incident in our old home with the wire racks and they just all came crashing down one night in the middle of the night. And I don't want to go through that again. And then here is the pass-through to the laundry room, so we can just pass our clothes through. And both of those pass-throughs were Joe's idea. And so he talked with the builder, and our builder made it work. So that's the tour of our home. I can't believe that our nomad life is ending, and we have our movers coming, or the U-boxes being delivered today of our stuff that's been in storage since last September, and our movers coming tomorrow morning to help us unpack. So today is moving day. We have all our U-boxes out on the driveway. I'll show you in just a minute. There's some landscapers out there right now putting seed on the lawn, but it is a beautiful day today, even though it's only 32 degrees. Yesterday, it was actually warmer, but very windy, so it was cold. But I'm just thinking I'm ready to cry some happy tears that This has been over 3 years in the making. We've been nomads for the last 7 months, which was so fun, yet so difficult at the same time. And that's coming to an end finally. Like a huge weight being lifted off my shoulders. Though very good memories also, as I'm sure Joe will agree. So anyways, today's a big day. We have the movers coming. Hopefully they'll be here within the next half hour or so. We have the guy from Feral Gas, which is the propane company, here right now, looking for this place to put the propane tank, which we need for our hot water tank and for the fireplace, but that's it. So I don't know when that's coming. As soon as that gets here, then we'll be able to actually stay in the house. But in the meantime, we'll be staying at the place we rented in Birmingham until we can get some hot water. So on to the move. It's going to be a busy day. So these are the U boxes. So our stuff has been in these boxes for the last 7 months. And it actually worked out pretty good. We loaded them up ourselves, and then U-Haul came to take them away, and then they brought them out to Alabama and stored them for us all this time. And then when we were ready, they just came and dropped them off. And then when we're done, they're just gonna come pick them up. So this is the state of what our house looks like right now. As you can see, we have got lots to do, but that's okay. We have time to do it. Though I have to admit, I am very tired. And it's not like we've been overexerting ourselves. Guest room looks kind of okay. But I don't know, I'm maybe feeling a bit emotionally drained as well as physically drained. Emotionally drained just because, like, I don't know, an end to the nomad life finally. And even though we have tons of storage in this house, trying to figure out where everything is going to live. You know, when you've lived in a house for so long and you're used to the way things were, it's a little challenging. Hey, Joe.
Hi.
You want to see the garage? We had a huge game room at our other house. So all of this stuff here is game room stuff. And we're not sure where that's going to live yet, because eventually it's going to go up in this unfinished space we have above the garage. But that's going to take a while to finish out. So not sure what we're going to do with that. And the master bedroom doesn't look too bad, because we're buying new furniture for this room and we just bought it. But it's going to be 3 to 5 weeks before it gets here. And then, oh my gosh, closet. All right, I guess I better turn this off and start getting busy. So this is our new boat. It is in the water, and Rodney is going to give Joe boating lesson, and I'm going to have to take our car back to the house. Hopefully they can pick me up at the house and we'll come back and I'll get to enjoy the boat as well. The boat is ours. We just dropped off Rodney, who we bought the boat from. Wish us luck.
Only had one accident so far.
Moment of truth. driving up to our house in the boathouse. Wish us luck. Here is the boathouse, and we just had an addition added to it just this morning. I'm so excited to try it out. It's a swing, and we have it set to face west. I had to think for a minute so we could watch the sunsets. Let's go try it out. So here is the swing, and the guy made it for us. We actually found him. We were driving by, and he had a whole bunch of wood products on the side of his house, and I guess that's how he gets his business, just by drive-bys. So that was just last week, and he just came out this morning to install it. It's bolted down to the dock, and now Joe and I can come out here and enjoy the view, but not on this windy day. It's freezing. Well, if you have gotten this far, we want to thank you so much for watching. As we said earlier, it has been quite the journey, so much so that in putting this video together,
She had a panic attack.
it kind of stressed me out a little bit. But I did have a panic attack. But it was so worth it. And all the stress was very manageable. You can see that we did it, and we survived just fine, and we're just loving it out here.
So thanks again for watching, and stay tuned, and we'll keep you posted on future updates. But this one should bring you up to date if you've never seen any of our videos.
Bye.